Have you ever felt completely, utterly isolated, even when you're standing right dead center in the middle of a crowded room? You know the feeling, right? It's this incredibly heavy, sinking sensation that can genuinely just catch you off guard out of nowhere. But listen, I want to start our time together today with a core truth, a truth you might really need to hear right now. Being alone does not mean you are broken, and it absolutely does not mean you failed.
Welcome to this explainer, everyone. I am so incredibly thrilled to guide you through this fascinating and honestly deeply personal topic today. Our goal here is clear, and I think it's super empowering. We're going to walk through a practical, step-by-step guide for transforming isolation from a really painful experience into a powerful stage of personal growth. We're going to figure out how to stop fearing the silence and start using it to build a much better, healthier relationship with yourself.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the weight of loneliness.
So loneliness rarely announces itself, does it? It kind of just sneaks in, settling slowly into quiet days and long nights, making even small rooms feel absolutely enormous. And look, we have to validate that pain because it's real and it is heavy. Naturally, our very first instinct is to escape. We try to drown out that terrifying silence with noise, endless doom scrolling on social media, or just empty conversations so we can feel something, anything. But here's the reality check. Loneliness doesn't just vanish because you ignored it. It only transforms when you bravely look at it face to face and actually allow it to change you.
Which brings us to Section 2, a shift in perspective.
What if the silence isn't a punishment at all? Sometimes life deliberately removes all that external noise, specifically to force us to listen to our own voice. Now, it's actually kind of staggering to realize how we distribute our emotional energy when we're scared of being alone. Think about this. An exhausting 60% of our time is often spent just seeking approval from others. Another 30% goes to completely surrendering our own peace just to avoid feeling lonely. And that leaves a tiny little 10% sliver of energy that we actually spend cultivating our own self-worth. Loneliness points a harsh but super honest spotlight directly on these imbalances. It shows us exactly what needs fixing.
So, the ultimate goal here is becoming your own best company. Now, to be clear, this does not mean closing yourself off from the world like a hermit. It doesn't mean you stop loving or that you push your friends away. It just means learning to sit with yourself without that underlying fear. Because when you finally learn to enjoy your own presence, relationships stop being this desperate need for validation. Instead, they transform into healthy, conscious choices. You literally just stop accepting emotional crumbs. Let's move on to Section 3, Questions in the Silence. When we are constantly busy trying to fit in, we completely forget who we are. But the beautiful thing about that terrifying silence is that it finally gives you the floor. You can start asking the heavy, profound questions you've probably been avoiding for years. First up, what do I want for my life? Not what your parents want, not what your friends expect, not what society says you should do. What do you want? This is your chance to use the silence to strip away all those external expectations. Second big question. What things make me truly happy? And I mean true, internal joy, not external validation. When nobody is around to applaud you, or tell you good job, or like your post online, what activities genuinely fill your cup? Third, which people actually bring peace to my life? Okay, this one is tough. It forces you to take a hard look at your circle and evaluate if your current connections bring genuine calm and understanding, or if you're just holding on to them out of pure habit and the fear of being alone. And finally, what do I need to leave behind? You might discover the hard truth here, that you've spent way too long abandoning yourself just to please others. You might realize certain people or habits were just taking up space. And yeah, realizing that hurts, for sure. But man, is it profoundly liberating. Not all company brings peace, and not all loneliness destroys.
Okay, let's get super practical now in Section 4, Daily Habits for Healing.
Facing loneliness means actively learning how to take care of yourself. Look, a lot of people sit around waiting for some magical overnight fix. But true recovery, it literally happens in the small, daily details. To reconnect, you need to take action. Sleep better, eat better, move your body, read, go for walks, and just remember to breathe deeply. I know, these sound incredibly basic, right? But they are the absolute foundational building blocks of self-worth. By doing these things, you are signaling to your brain that you are worth taking care of. Inner peace starts by actively, deliberately caring for your physical and mental well-being.
The mental shift is just as important. Healing starts the very day you decide to get up, even when you have zero desire to do so. It continues when you consciously choose to speak to yourself with a little more kindness. And this is crucial. Step 3. You have got to stop punishing yourself for feeling bad. There will be difficult days. The silence will hurt sometimes. Facing loneliness doesn't mean you're suddenly immune to sadness. It just means learning not to completely destroy yourself when that sadness inevitably returns.
Next up, Section 5, the courage to ask for help.
Just to be super clear, being comfortable alone does not mean isolating yourself from support. That's a huge misconception. True resilience includes having the courage to talk to someone and open up, even if it's just little by little. Please let this sink in. Not everyone is going to hurt you. Not everyone is going to abandon you. There are actually people out there capable of truly listening and accompanying you on those long, difficult nights. People who will get what you're going through. Just because you might not see them right in front of you today doesn't mean they don't exist. Life changes, people change, and you can change too.
And that perfectly leads us to our final part. Section 6, Meeting Your New Version.
Keep in mind that some of the greatest artists, writers, and just generally extraordinary people in history went through intense stages of isolation, but instead of letting it ruin them, they used that isolation to build profound resilience. And guess what? You're doing the exact same thing right now. Please take away this one thought, if nothing else. You are not falling behind in life. You are not somehow less important just because you feel lonely right now. You are simply a human being navigating a very dark, stormy path. And storms, no matter how fierce they get, are always temporary. The difficult stages end, I promise. This stage didn't arrive in your life to break you down. It showed up to teach you. It's teaching you how to find calm in the silence, how to actually enjoy a cup of coffee with just your own thoughts for company. It is teaching you to recognize your true worth so you never, ever settle for less again. Loneliness is quite literally the birthplace of a much stronger, much more conscious, and beautifully authentic version of yourself. A version of you that doesn't need to hide anymore.
Every single step you take right now, even the tiny ones you take when you're scared, counts. Someday, you're going to look back and realize something absolutely incredible. The exact same loneliness that you thought was going to destroy you actually ended up teaching you how to find yourself. You were never completely lost. You were simply learning how to return to yourself. So the next time that quiet settles into your room, will you run from the silence, or will you finally introduce yourself?